music.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Very good.
Good.
Very good.
Good. You have had good days and good weekend?
Very good. Very, very good. Lots of interesting and magical things, lots of new connects. Yeah, just continuing forward in this magical journey, really.
Yeah. I hear you. I'm right there with you. Lots of beautiful things, lots of beautiful things coming through and happening too. So it's really, it's awesome. Yeah.
It's time. It really is.
It really is. Today,
I'm not really sure how it will come. The last couple of days I've been, it's always for intuition again, or guidance, I guess. There's several people that have asked to reconnect to loved ones, which is I've never done that before.
Me neither.
And I would,
but I'm getting goosebumps. So maybe this is our time.
I think so. I'd love to basically allow maybe an hour and a half ish for the whole time.
Okay.
Up to 2 hours, but I don't think that's going to be relevant. And then we'll have a big connect. I'd love it if basically you kind of hosted to start, and we'll introduce everyone. I'll ask everybody to introduce themselves, give everybody like 2 or 3 minutes, and I will take on the role of almost structure. So if somebody goes a bit over, I'll be like, not to cut you short, but everybody needs to have time, blah, blah, blah. And then maybe the last half an hour, I'll hold that journey where we connect back to love, as like a guided meditation sort of thing, if that feels good.
Yeah, that feels good. Yes, I like that. And something that was coming through too is something for us to do is called because I don't know, like I went on your link and I'm not sure, like, that's what I call, like, what I'm planning on doing is soul to soul sessions, right? And then I went onto yours and I saw that and I was like, wait a minute, he has the same thing, because that's what I've been writing down for years. But what I kept on hearing is Sunday soul sessions. Ooh. So maybe there's something that in some sort of program we have where we have a Sunday soul session, like a big group, almost like a prayer soul type. I don't know how it's resonating with you, something like that down the line, or however you want to feel into that. I don't know, me when I was in the shower.
Love it.
Or
Sunday soul connection session.
Yeah, Sunday soul connection session.
Sunday soul.
Yeah, Sunday soul connection session. Ooh, that's powerful. Connecting us with the divine, but our soul at the same time, which is all really just one coming through, right? And bringing all these energies back into you. You know what I mean? That's what we will do, and that's how we'll say how we do it for them, because so many of us have become disconnected from source energy, right? And I think that that's something that we really need to bring back through for everybody, because we know how powerful that can be. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. I love it.
So it should be, we've just gone over the minute, and unless the time's changed everywhere, yeah?
Yes. So the time changed here all over in the US. So it would be normally 10 o'clock right now.
Should we stream it live on Facebook?
You can do whatever you'd like to.
Well.
Facebook, so I don't, you know what I mean?
Creates more of a pull as well for next time. Return to love. Group connection session. Okay, public show on your timeline. Okay, that's ready to go there. It's being recording. Yeah. Instagram.
With all that, I don't know hardly any of those things. I'm learning those things I need to say. Not that I don't.
Yay!
Grand Rising.
How are you?
Great. How are you? The sun is shining. I don't know if you guys want to see. The sun's just rising
Look
here.
at that.
So,
Look at
yeah, we're really lucky.
Where are you?
I am in Washington State. So
Oh, all the way
we're-
on the West Coast. I'm on the East Coast.
mhm.
Thank you so
Right
much
on.
for sharing that.
Oh, yeah, no problem. I'll send you guys a time lapse in the group later because I was recording it while I was meditating, the sun rising.
Oh, gorgeous.
Yes, hello. I can't see anybody but you, and I don't know your name, but I think you were streaming with Kane the other day.
Yeah, I'm Monet. You can't see Kane? I can see Kane.
If
I
you
wonder-
use a phone, you can only ever see the person who's talking. So in order to see the whole group, it's required to go on a PC.
Got it.
So whoever's talking, it will pop up on the screen.
Right on. Thank you.
Hi, Lacey. How are you?
That's better.
Good morning. Doing well. How are y'all doing?
Good, thank you. Are you from? You sound like you're from down south. Where are you from?
I'm from Georgia.
Georgia. Love it. I love Georgia. East Coast.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You're from where? Up
I'm
north?
originally from Minnesota, but I live in Massachusetts.
Okay. I've been there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
It is pretty up there.
Mm-hmm. Thank you all for being here today and joining Kane and I.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. How many more minutes you want to give, baby? Just a little bit before we go in.
Yeah, we'll just continue to do what we're doing. I'll just hold some space, flow through the beautiful information, and just take a moment to reconnect, really.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And again, thank you for taking this time to connect and to reflect and flow. And I think today is going to be a very beautiful experience. For if it feels relevant, what I've been given is maybe connecting back to a loved one that has passed. So somebody that maybe we are not physically connected to anymore, but that we can energetically bring back in and open up that unconditional love for them again, to know that they're never actually separate from us and that we're always connected to everybody within the mental as well as the energetic and emotional. So just because something's physically gone doesn't mean that we can't still enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. And I love that. And I just want to say, thank you. We're holding a sacred space. And so everybody is safe, and share in any sort of way that they wish to. And, everybody's here vulnerable. I'm nervous too. Don't worry. I'm not used to doing this at all. So I get a little, I'm like, you know how it is. I'm being honest with it also. It's a new experience for me too, to be able to be hosting one of these, because are one thing, but this feels just so much more intimate and personal, so it's opening up that space, created that opening of vulnerability and the sacred energy in this space where we can all just be in our own bodies. And so maybe we start off by taking a couple deep breaths to just anchor into us and one another as we go into this stage. And so I'm just going to take a couple deep breaths. If you guys want to join me, feel free to. And just connecting with our bodies, aligning, opening. Only takes a few sometimes for me, just kind of get my energy gets a little high. I gotta pull myself back down in, right? So Kane, how would you like, you want to just introduce, or how would you like that to go, my love?
However everyone feels most at ease. If we'd like to reflect really on our journeys, because obviously we all know each other to varying degrees, and if anything feels incredibly relevant at the moment, if you'd like to release anything, knowing that in order to have the space to allow in the new, often we need to release the old. So if there is any feeling of disconnect from love, any attachment to love being negative or something that provokes fear, please share this. Please release anything that is holding you back from this reconnection, so that then we can create the space to allow that love to flow back through. Justine.
Yes.
How are you in general?
I'm doing so good this morning. I'm so grateful. With daylight savings time, right? I woke up at 7, and in my mind, like, oh, things are starting at 9. No, they're starting at 8. So I had an hour. So I'm all meditated, like really freshly, like meditated and all the things. So I'm really, really in alignment this morning, which feels super good. I mean, to the degree that I got to record the sun rising this morning, like super blessed. So I'm feeling really good. Things have been really good. Easing into the life that I've been wanting to create, right, since we worked together. So that's really, really good. And showing up, that's the big part, right? Feeling really good
and showing up for yourself.
Yeah, it feels really good to honor ourselves, right? So I'm doing well. Doing really well. Yeah, excited for the next part of the journey. That'll be really cool.
And I want to ask, what is, when you hear the word, I don't know why this is coming through, but when you hear the word love, how does it vibrate through you?
How does it vibrate through me? That's an interesting question.
No. It just comes through.
I love that. It radiates in my whole body, but right now specifically, I'm feeling it in my feet and in my heart space. But yeah, I'd say it kind of depends, maybe where it's being received from or the level, but usually it'll radiate through my whole vessel. If I'm feeling love, it's like a whole body, everything's super open and expanded, and that's how it feels in my vessel anyway. So like, for example, when I'm meditating or toning and I sing, I tone all my chakras into alignment, right? That's what I do. Oh, it's super wonderful. Yeah, that's a whole body feeling, right? All the way up and all the way back down. Like that's it. Very expansive. It feels really good.
Yes. It's the vibration, and it's the frequency, and it's the harmony of all of it going in, because that's what it all is, right? It's beautiful. I love that. So so I got, you're completely and surrounded and loved by Mother Earth, right? So that's that feet thing. So connected and so right there, and then in the heart center too. And your relationship with love, you want it to be expanded? What is it that's calling you in for your love? Are you looking for love? Are you calling in love? Or are you just in this moment in time just embodying love?
I think right now
you can be
no, you're good. Yeah, no, I will be completely honest.
We're scared to admit, like, look, I want the best love ever. That's what I'm.
No, really. I am right now looking to expand in a way where I have the courage to show up in this way, right? Like I have really big goals, right? So, and I have a lot of love to give, but I also understand that it's really important to be open to receiving love. So something that I've been working on personally is feeling not only worthy, because that's just I think a baseline for anybody, but actually being excited about receiving love. So I listen to a lot of Abraham Hicks, like all about alignment, right? Like it's all inward ultimately. So internally, I understand very clearly that, like, I remember in the video the other day, I actually wrote a post-it note about stuff I wanted to talk about here too anyway. So the talk that y'all were having the other day, I just found it very, oh man, it was there. Okay. I'm so excited. Like, it's just, that's a huge part of it. Okay, that's not, whatever. That'll come back if it's meant to, I guess. So basically, yeah, receiving love and feeling safe to receive love. I mean, that's, and getting excited about it. There it is. Abraham, one of the ones I've been listening to recently, was talking about how it's always more fun to give to somebody when they're excited about receiving. It's not fun when someone's like, oh, I don't like that, or oh, I don't like this. Like, it's not as fun to give to somebody who is not open or excited or happy or, you know, feeling loved enough to like receive. So that's been my focus, is like getting excited about receiving, really reprogramming the resonance that I have to receiving, because I understand that I can give. That's a non-question, right? And the more that I can receive, the more unconditionally I can give, because it's right. It's all about balance, and it's internal source, it's internal fulfillment, it's all the things, right? So that's been my focus recently. So I would feel like I would say that I'm in a very wildly different place even than, you know, when Kane and I were working together over a year ago now.
Beautiful.
Really special, really good.
Right?
Yeah.
Growth, evolution, and just the higher states and frequencies, and aligning and dropping out that and all that no longer serves you too. Oh,
yeah, and it's been a lot of that, right? It's been a lot of reprogramming, choosing how I'm going to relate to something and how I'm going to perceive something, right? So, you know,
it's a lot of work. People don't realize how much you have to stop yourself and be like, ooh, is this the way I want to respond? Ooh, is this the way I should? And then you have to just go back in, and then pretty soon, you know, it's practice.
It is practiced.
Yeah,
it is
every
practiced.
day and every moment. You know what I mean?
No, it really is. You can be as evolved as you think you possibly could be, and they're still practicing and still, you know, things. But that's the beauty, right? That's why we choose to be here. That's absolutely why we choose to be here, is for that contrast, is for that experience of what it's like to know the difference between absolute bliss, which is where we come from, to have that very human experience. Like, something that I specifically really like to honor, I won't say focus on, but honor, is that those are a very valid, important part of this experience. And trying to like force our negative emotions to not be there or to feel better, like, that doesn't work. You have to lean into them. You have to surrender to them. You have to like let yourself sink right to the deepest parts of the darkness and appreciate it there too, because that's void space. That's where the growth happens. That's where seeds sprout and nourishment happens. It's the womb. It's all the deliciousness, right? Yeah. So that's, you know, really good. Really good.
Lacey, how are you today?
Yeah. That was lovely to hear. I was when Monet asked where do you feel love, I just felt this pulsing in my heart all of a sudden. So I was kind of tuning into that, and then listening to Christine. But yeah, I'm also, a lot has changed in my life where I'm just no longer aligned with a lot of things. A lot of people have fallen, I guess, out of my this life.
Your physical reality.
Yes.
That's okay.
So, yeah, but, and at first I was like, wait, I feel them moving. Let me like stop this from happening, pull them closer. But that created a lot more resistance, and it was just kind of chaotic there for a minute. So I guess letting a lot of things out to see what can form now is what I'm kind of focusing on at this moment. And so I've turned a lot of outward focus inward and tried to really tune into what's going on inside, because I've noticed it's being reflected outwards. And especially like with my ego, I've been kind of introduced to that in different ways, and how I view myself, I think, is what I'm starting to look at. I don't know if that makes sense, but yeah.
Becoming And so what does the word love mean to you? When you hear the word love, does it bring up bring up comfort, or do you feel more pain? Or a little bit of both?
And I guess both. Because like I feel like connection, like my arms like want to reach out,
Mm-hmm.
bring things closer to me. Yeah, that's my initial response or to that. But then there's like all the stuff that's happened in the past I try to let go of, because there's lots of, pain and doubt that comes up as well.
So that's where that reconnection is. Like you're saying, connection, you want to bring it in, but you still have a lot of that pain within that you're holding on to that kind of just needs to be just cleared out of your spaces so you can open up and so you can receive all that love that's wanting to come into you. And it does take time, and for us to be able to align into those new frequencies and that new energy of love to come in, it's as Christine was saying, is getting rid of those past, not necessarily getting rid of them, accepting them, honoring them, loving them in their space, because in all honesty, all of our pain, all of those things, it's actually just a lack of love that's needing to be there anyway. So it's all comes back to the love anyways. And it's just loving ourselves in those moments of pain that we might have had in the past, or in our own heartbreak, or, maybe things we said or something like that, is loving and honoring ourselves in those moments in the past so that we can transcend to this new space and place right now in time and stuff. And I think that a lot of people don't really understand that we can go back and do that. And we have the ability to move to those, previous versions of us and give that love and do all of that, and the way in which we do it, it can be really simple. It's just sitting with our, some of the things I'm just going to share, like my inner child, but I didn't stop at an inner child. I saw my 10-year-old self. I love my 10-year-old self. I love my teenage self that was sitting on the side of the street so high that I blacked out, and had no idea why I'm here. Thank God, I was alive, but like loving myself when I made those bad, my teenage years, my 20s, my 30s, all these moments in the midst of being a mom, and all of those moments too is, clearing that and all my past, lovers and all of that too. It's a lot, because we forget how much we take on when we connect with other people and their energies as well. So it's not only loving ourselves in those spaces, but then also disconnect. Have you done different disconnections with previous people in your life, like energy cord cuttings? I don't know.
I probably need to do some more. Yeah, I've started to do that, and I think that's kind of what led to them falling out of my life.
It's so interesting.
I said how powerful it is.
Yep.
So thank you.
Like if you've never done it before and then you do it, and you see how instantaneously things happen, it's really crazy. Like that's how like energy is real.
Yes.
People notice too.
Yeah.
When you remove that connection and you sever that connection with them, they notice immediately, especially if they've been thriving off of it. That is, and they will either almost immediately reach out to you, or they will literally just like disappear.
That's what happened. Yeah. With some, like the next day after a month, they reached out, and I tried to.
They're like, oh,
a month, and no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My ex-husband, when I disconnected, because I was married before, when I disconnected, all of a sudden the kids would call, like I would have to do it repeatedly. And the kids were like, Dad's so sick, he's puking everywhere, like he can't get out of bed. And I'm like, and like in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, holy this is when I just started my journey and I had no idea. And I was like, wow. And same, like I had to do one with my mother too, because it's another thing that comes through is that we forget that we're raised sometimes in families that are not healthy for us, right? And so we have these energetic connections with some of our family members that aren't always healthy. And so when we disconnect those two, and that's part of this process too, I don't know for me, but we can love them. I love them all with all my heart, but I can't allow that energy to be in my own frequency because we're not at the same spaces and places. So. Anyways, awesome. Well, thank you. Well, and we know that as we let people go, then we open up more space for new people to come in that are more aligned with you, right, Lacey, at this time, yes. And to bring in the frequencies that you need, and you just keep on, manifesting that which it is that you seek, and keep your eyes on the thing. And it's tough though too, because you kind of get pulled back into that drama too.
So sometimes, but I'm gonna get more, so that's good. I'm noticing when I'm going back to where I'm moving forward. Yeah.
I understand completely.
That's beautiful.
Well, and I think vibrationally too, right? Like people will just fall away when you are no longer in vibrational alignment. Like, it's not even always personal. It's not even always some big drama thing, right? It's like, oh, we were really close and now we're not. Like, what happened? Right. And I would even say from an inner wounding standpoint, might take that personally, from programming, like, oh, what did I do? Like self-blame, when in reality, it is just that. It is literally just a separation of vibration. Like, you are no longer in the same vibrational vicinity. And that's what you asked for. That's what you asked for. And it's not always easy. I'm going through a huge purge. Literally almost every single person that I've been around for the last 2 years have gone. Literally gone. Like, I've been in hermit mode. Classic Scorpio. I'm all up in my hermit space. But like, in all seriousness, I mean, everybody, even people that were incredibly spiritual, I had an understanding that, yeah, we were in a different place vibrationally, but did I expect them to just like literally not exist in my vibrational reality anymore? No, not really. I mean, and I've been on this journey for 10 years. Yeah, like it's been full. And really good. But that's the thing, is it has nothing to do with your worthiness. Like, it really is just vibrational alignment, right? Like, it really is just that. It is like, yeah, you asked for better, so like, we're going to deliver that to you.
A beautiful way of seeing that could be like, the way I was showing it before was likened to a tower block. So we live on a certain floor, and as we raise our vibration, we move to a new floor, a higher level of existence. And if somebody is remaining at the level we were at, they will remain at that floor. Say you live on floor 7 and you raise to floor 8. The people at floor 7 either need to raise to continue to be part of your journey, or they just disappear and you no longer see them. It's not personal, as you said. You've chosen that. So it's knowing that the choices you make, you then allow to actually take place, because what we ask for, we will receive. So it's being incredibly mindful of what we put out as an intention, and to know that if you ask for something and then you try to actually deny it when it is presented to you, that you will be creating internal conflicts. And then the next time that you ask for something, you might not ask with quite as much conviction. So you won't be giving it with so much, there won't be so much energy behind its creation. And that's where we end up in that point where we're not sure whether to go left or to go right. We undermine ourselves at every turn. We set intentions and never actually meet them. And they're the moments that more often than not bring real transformation. When we get to a point where we're like, I'm done here. I've had enough of this. It's time to choose me. And I think collectively, that's where we all are. We're all coming back into a place of self-love, as much as trying to then gain that love from outside. Is knowing that it does all start and end within, and that without the love that you feel for another person, there is no love to be felt. But that love is your love still. The love that I feel for you is felt by me, so it is my love. It's not your love. So I don't give you the power, if you like, over that feeling of love. I know that it's my love felt by me for me. And it's beautiful to be able to see it reflected on each and every one of you. And at the same time, it's being able to see it within ourselves. And as Monet, as you were saying, it's going back and loving those versions of ourselves from the past that we would previously have wronged or condemned. It's accepting every part of ourselves to then be able to bring that love back in. And that is the journey I believe that we're all on, and that we're all continually taking through this journey that we call life. I don't believe that there will ever be anybody on this earthly plane that is fully actualized and complete. Otherwise they would dissipate. There would be no more reason for their existence. They would just disappear in the physical as well as the astral. So yeah, it's a beautiful reminder and moment to come back into love, and to remember that all we ever need sometimes is a single breath, just to bring that connection back to ourselves and back to our center.
And just, and I think, like, we're talking about, like the whole post is saying is just like when we have lived with self-hatred or unworthiness or, like non-confidence, to be able to create that, it doesn't happen overnight. And I think that that's what a lot of people really, really think. Oh, all of a sudden now it's like you have to like love yourself through those horrible moments when you don't want to love yourself, when you think that you're doing something wrong or that you're feeling a certain way. And it's like, and I think to myself, like, I don't even know where my self-hate and myself, like where all of that came from. And I think it was, you know what I mean? It's like society and other people. I know it wasn't me, but it was me because it was me internalizing everything, right? And to be able to get up and out of that is a lot of work. And once again, it's that daily practice of filling yourself back up with love and saying, hey, I can't expect the external world to see me like I see me. I can't expect them to show up for me. I have to show up for me, and I have to choose me to be able to really, really be open to give and to receive. And I think that that's the hardest part of this journey, is for us to do that, is because there's so many times it's that freaking, at least for me, it's like those past programs want to come in to say, oh, you're just the worst, you know what I mean? Or like, you have no reason to be thinking that way, or something like that. And to really be able to get that out of my brain and be like, oh, nope, that's not me. It's that ego thing that's trying to keep me safe, that tells me that it doesn't want me to step up or
Froze.
The energy is so good.
It's too powerful. You literally broke
It really is.
into new spaces and stuff, and it froze everything.
Yeah, you froze there. Your frequency was too high. The internet couldn't handle it.
It's coming in and out, saying it's unstable. Yes.
Take a breath.
Take a breath. Bring it back down. Yeah. So that's what I'm learning. My energy is that, as we are getting higher, my energy is so much more potent, and it's, like in everything, I'm a pillar of peace. I'm calm and stable, and I'm connected. It's just because it's going so fast, and which is a beautiful thing. And it's, happening to everybody as we're ascending to these beautiful new states. But that's love, right? It's the highest frequency. And once we're in it, and those bliss states, it's,
people, we're streaming on Facebook as well at the moment, and people are relating that the feeling of self-worth is quite often diminished by our relationship with our parents and our peers growing up. And somebody can put us down and show us love and take it away, if you like, which is quite often the narcissistic tendencies that people have. And being empathetic, it's almost the balance of equations. Quite often you'll get an empath with a narcissist, and then they get locked in this relationship and this connection that isn't actually beneficial to either parties, but becomes almost a trauma bonded connection.
It becomes codependent.
Codependency, 100%. And then we believe the words that we receive. Somebody tells us we're no good, or that we're not worthy, or we're shown over and over again that we're not worthy of love, or that it only comes as long as we behave in a certain way. And then we take those programs and beliefs upon ourselves, and then we act accordingly. And we even then go into situations and say, okay, I'm here, I would like to be loved, but I will only be open to receive that love if I present myself in the way I believe that I should. As long as I've got my makeup on, then I'll be accepted. As long as I've got a nice coat on or my nice shoes on, I can't go out and expect people to like me or even love me if I don't look the right way, or if I don't behave the right way or use the right words. And then we actually end up preventing that flow of love to ourselves and preventing that self-love being expressed. So again, as you're doing at the moment, Lacey, you're taking your attention inwards. You're not looking outside for validation and approval. You're not looking outside to gain that feeling of connection and love, because you've come to a place and a realization that, again, it is you, it's your love. It's not somebody else's love you feel, it's your own love. So it's harnessing that within yourself. And it's planting those seeds of positivity. It's giving, in my opinion, ourselves small tasks every day that we can accomplish. So it's like climbing a mountain. You don't think, right, I'm going to climb that mountain. I've never climbed a mountain before. I'm going to go and climb Mount Everest next week. That's not going to happen, is it? We start to take small walks in the countryside. We start to push ourselves past our barriers of old, but in a way that we know we can achieve. Because again, if we undermine ourselves too many times, we get to a point where we just give up trying. So it's giving ourselves small reachable goals that then continue to grow and develop that feeling of self-worth and capability, so that we feel confident and worthy to then be able to actually overcome challenges, and then again to feel proud of ourselves, if you like, to use pride, which is egoic, but we are ego. So proud of ourselves to then be able to receive a form of a reward almost, because that's the way
to celebrate yourself is what's coming through for me, instead of using the pride thing, but be celebratory of your success, your accomplishment in that which you did, you know what I mean? To celebrate the small wins, important as the big wins.
Just as we'd celebrate our children if they won something, we celebrate ourselves.
Yes.
Beautiful.
Absolutely. My kids all had BJJ competitions yesterday. And so just getting on the mats, to me, it's couldn't get out there and do that. But 2 of them lost. And it was devastating. They're not used to losing it. And I was saying to them, like, you learn the most in your failures. That's how you, and they're like, no. I'm like, I couldn't have done it. You did more than I could have done. You know what I mean? And so, like, even trying to teach this, I don't know if either one of you are mothers or anything like that, but, to be able to teach this to our kids too, that it's these small steps. But there was I'll have to go back to that. But it was also another thing that was coming through, Kane, when you were speaking, that it's not only our external, like you're saying, those small steps, but it's really hard to get from a place of depression, anxiety, self-hate, all the way up to self-love. So one of the steps that really keeps on coming through for me is bring yourself to relief, bring yourself to peace. That is most, because it's that gateway and it's that step that if you can be in peace and in relief, then you're at least getting out of that depression, that hate, that lower vibrational energy. But it's not that big climb to the top of the mountain yet. It's just a few steps up, and it takes a little bit more each day. And then you continue to journey. Once you get to that frequency of peace and release, then you can step up to the next little levels. You know what I mean? Because it doesn't happen. And I think that's another, people think in this whole spiritual community, oh, if I just do this, all of a sudden, my whole life is going to change. It's a constant practice. It takes time, just like everything else, to be able to clear away all this. And first you need to be at peace before you can, to get to that too. And from that nervous system, right? Because the majority of us are in survival mode, because that is what we are constantly bombarded with every single day. So if we can just get to a peace state, then we can elevate to those new states.
I want to share some tools I've been using for the past month, going along with what you were saying. When my energy was really low, like a month or 2 ago, probably like right before I contacted Kane, and I had this journal that I bought, and it like 3 goals for the day. I've been setting these goals like to walk more. So you take short steps. So this is my steps, 2 steps, right? To walk a certain amount of, and if I meet that goal, I feel good about it, and I can go reach, a different goal, a more challenging goal, connect with myself. And it's a reflection journal. I recommend this. It's been helpful. And it also has rate your energy level. So I've been at like a 7-8 the past month. I haven't been all the way at a 9-10, but it's a lot better than the 3 or 4 or 5. You know what I mean? So I'm seeing it improving. And also I use Insight Timer, and there's when you check in
Yeah, there she
to
goes.
that meditation app. One
Mhm.
second. Hold on. I'm getting a call. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't know where this went. And you can check in with how you're feeling. And so it used to be like kind of bad or okay. And now it's been good for like a steady couple weeks. It hasn't been great, but like at least it's been increasing. And it like you have to determine like your moods and what's causing that. So it's just really reflective to see what's actually, helping your moods or
Mhm.
improving energy levels. And I just think it's been a great tool because, like you said, you don't jump from one end of the spectrum to another. It's gradual. And so that's something that I've been using that's been helpful.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And I don't know why this is coming through for me, for you to ask yourself to make sure that when you are feeling something, I want you to, when you start to feel an emotion or anything that's coming through, it's really important for you to ask yourself, is this mine or is this the collective's at this time? I don't know, this message is just coming through because I don't think everything that you are feeling is actually you. So if you just take that moment and ask yourself, it's really, really coming through for me, for you to do, because a lot of times we don't realize it's not even actually ours. And then we're like, why am I feeling this way? And you can't pinpoint it. It's because it's not your collective energy. And so just doing like an energy sweep, and a really good thing that I've been saying is sovereignty now, sovereignty now, sovereignty now. So it's only your own energy and your own frequency that you are in. Okay. I message for everybody to receive today.
Thank you.
Really check in, because the collective energy is really, really intense, right? And we are it really, really, really
There's
big.
clothes that I set out for you on the dresser, babes.
Get some clothes
My
out
my
first.
kiddo just woke up. And also, can I say something really quick? Because
Please.
okay. So for Lacey, real quick, I want to say, when you say that you were at a 3 or 4 and you're now at a 7 or 8, and you don't recognize that as being at a great state, like that's a massive increase. Just because you're not at 9 or 10 does not mean that that's not exponentially better, right?
Yeah.
If you're regular at this point, like your median or whatever, state of being is at a 7 or 8, that's where I think that perspective of, oh, we're just never enough. Like you have to see where you are, and where you are right now is exponentially better. And it just gets better and better in every moment. And I will also say, even, I zooming in even more than just it takes time, and every day it gets a little better. In every moment we have an opportunity, right? It is literally in every moment. Abraham talks about how thoughts last 17 seconds. And it's a lot easier to manage your thoughts when you understand you can let it ride out for 17 seconds. It's really not going to build that much momentum. It's when they go and go and go and go and go some more, right? So it goes back to that relationship, right? Our relationship to how we choose to view our own growth. And then you were talking about feeling collective energy and sweeping ourselves and us tuning into that, right? That's where grounding and being more familiar with your own energy is really important. But also, like just this morning, we've had geomagnetic storms happening all morning. We've had M-class solar flares and C-class solar flares all throughout the weekend. Our Schumann resonance, which is the magnetic frequency that's occurring in between the lowest part of our atmosphere, which I think is the ionosphere, and our Earth. Okay, all of these energetic charges are also impacting our bodies, right? Because if the moon can move our oceans, I'm pretty sure our sun and all of these things too genuinely impact our energetic vessels. We are all going through massive upgrades. We are being called to purge. We are being called to remove these thought processes and all of these things, or rather recalibrate, reprogram into a more love-based, but it's all love really at the end of the day too.
It is.
And that's really what it is. Even in the pain and suffering, it's still beautiful. It's still love. It's still, and love is not painful. That's not what I'm saying, right? Love is not painful. Love is expansive and beautiful and energizing. It is the exact opposite of what we feel, right? And so I think you're spot on about getting to a place of relief also. Because when you can get at least even just a state of relief, which is what we're even calling for anyways, right? Because anytime we feel anything other than relief, it just means that our view, our perspective, right, is not in alignment with our inner source's knowing, which is source, which is spirit, which is truth, which is love. Spirit doesn't view it in that way. Spirit doesn't view it in that way. They don't have that perspective, which is once again why we come here, right? Is to have this really expansive, full range, full spectrum of nutrient rich experiences, whether it is in the depths of the darkness or all the way up grayscale, you know, all the way up to the light. And I don't even say if it's up or down, like levels wise, like I'm learning about like high vibrational darkness, really interesting things like that. Like that's, it's a choice. It's a choice in how you choose to relate to things, I think, ultimately. So you can get excited and be like, oh shit, it's only been 2 months and I've already, you know, made this much progress. Like I'm almost sitting at a 9 and a 10 every day. And to even sit at a 9 and a 10 every day, that's amazing too. Even sitting at a 5, I mean, it's better than before. And it's just better than.
Well, six is better than if 5's middle, 6 is a positive.
Sure.
And if we could relate it to being able to run a mile and then the next day being able to run 2 miles, or and knowing everything's energy, if you're in a job where you are earning 30,000 a year and then all of a sudden you started earning 60,000, that would be quite an achievement. So it's locking that in, and it's actually every time that the way I was shown it again through my understanding was almost as though we are animated. There is no real level below us or above us. It's similar to what you were just saying. But every time that we level up, we can then bring up the baseline below us to secure that is a new baseline. So if your normal frequency level was 4, let's say, and you've gone up to a 6, you could say that you should go between 4 and 6. So when you go up to 6, you can then lock that in place as a new central position, and then go from 6 to 7 or 6 to 5. So every time we go up a level, if we go through a process of locking it in place and actually infusing it energetically as well as consciously, every time that I bring a program or a belief into place that's beneficial or remove one that is no longer required, I solidify it, I infuse it, integrate it into every fiber of my being, every atom, every molecule, and even the space between, across every lifetime, timeline, dimension, and reality. Therefore, there is nowhere left for it not to exist. It is. There is no denying it. To think of something, to think you're doing better, is completely separate to know you're doing better, because the mind will think. Thinking allows doubt. If we think something, there is always an element of doubt there. To know something, we know it. That's it. It is fact. There is no questioning it. I know certain things, and because of those knowings, I know love is the answer to every question, which again is why I know that we've already won. You know, that the light will always overcome the darkness. The light will always shine in the dark, and that is a beautiful safety and comfort to me on those moments where, you know, the media is projecting this story that we're experiencing at the moment of potential wars or disasters and etc. I just like, yeah, well, goodies always win. Disney tells us goodies always win. Beautiful.
Really good. I will say too, I think there's also, hopefully, at least in my realm of understanding, like darkness is not bad. It's not. And that's because everything is being arranged. It's like chaos, right? Like chaos is coming to clear and cleanse. We have a choice on how we relate to it. We can get upset, okay, and all hanging on and resistant to this idea. I mean, and don't get me wrong, like we can focus on the terrible things that are happening in this world. I totally could choose to focus on that, or we can choose to focus on how much this is actually shaking things up and changing. It was a matter of time. We all knew that this was coming. This is not a surprise. This is the culmination. We're calling for it, right? As we are raising as a collective, like, shit has to get cleared. Stuff has to get cleared. Like, it has to get moved out. And that's what chaos does. Chaos comes in, sweeps it all up, burns it to the ground. And then that's where all that darkness, that nutrient rich soil, where all these beautiful new sprouts can grow. And we wouldn't even have, once again, it's all contrast, right? We wouldn't even have awareness of what's beautiful. I love that the sun's like all of a sudden poking through. Delightful. Like, so good. It is. It's alignment, right? Like, we can, you know, it's no different than if we had like sunshine all day, every day, 24 hours a day. Like, we wouldn't be able to exist. That's the reason why night exists, is so that our trees can grow and we can have a break. And like, you know, that's why we have rain and sun. That's why we have different seasons. Like, there is literally so much purpose and so much amazingness that can come from even the most terrible things. Like, you know, and when you were talking about earlier about how, you know, it's not always external programming, like, genuinely it is. Like, I listen to some of the stuff that like my kiddo watches, and I like have to go turn it off because I don't like the way that they speak, because you know what that's doing? That's programming. It's programming him to believe a certain way because they're whining. Like, I remember watching shows and my parents were like, what are you watching? Like, what is that? Like, they're like, I don't, you know, not only not that did they not understand, but it was like, I wasn't allowed to watch stuff that was like really, I would say, harmful in that way. Where it's literally teaching, like, those things are fed to us in so many different ways, right?
So the moment we're born, we've been taught to conform, literally.
Yeah, exactly. So, I mean, for us to understand that darkness is not inherently evil. there's once again, I believe personally that there can be high vibrational darkness. I don't think you can have one without the other. You're not just light. It is completely impossible. So to absolutely like focus on the beauty and the love, but that also means over the darkness.
And loving
that also means like that's part of honoring it, though, is accepting that what it's bringing you, like, wow, those, I mean, even in those, like, think of the worst grief maybe not think too hard about it, right? But understand, right, that the deepest grief you've ever felt is exactly the exact opposite of the most bliss you could ever feel, which means you are literally in vibrational alignment with both at the same time. It's just that your resonance of your perspective of where you are in that moment is not in alignment with that ultimate joy, right? Once again, your inner source doesn't have that whole, so your inner source just isn't going with you. And that's where we feel that separation, or which is totally a figment of our imagination. Our thoughts are powerful. So think away until you believe it. Think away until you know. Think away until, you know, because a belief is just a practice thought also. So we can practice thoughts all day. It's just choosing what you want to practice, right?
Beautiful.
I love this.
Choosing one, but not choosing the other, the way you view something. Like, if you just choose it all bad, you go back in your memories, but then you see another side of it. Like, that's what I've been doing recently, is viewing old past traumas from different perspectives, and then, you know, seeing it from a place of love and forgiving.
Acceptance.
Powerful,
Acceptance,
right?
is the first step. It's accepting that every step you've taken has brought you to this point now. And if you weren't experiencing every experience of the past, you wouldn't be the person you are today. And it is then giving thanks to every character, that those that have uplifted and loved you, as well as those that have repressed and challenged you, because quite often it's the challenges and the overcoming of them that then creates the new feelings of potential and capability again. That's beautiful. And it is true, without darkness there is nowhere for the light to shine. That's it.
And I think it's this.
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
No, you can go ahead.
I can see you there. You're like,
no, it's good. It's good. I was just going to say, I'll make it quick, you know, back to the whole, like, darkness at night, you know, we could even relate that to dying every day. Like,
I die every day. So
we have exactly. 100%. So it's all perspective, right? Of how we, once again, literally how we choose to perceive the life that's coming towards us, right? Like, that's literally it. So we do need that, though. Like, that's important. that grief is equally as important. Now, we don't have to live there either, but it is a normal part of being human. And to understand that, yes, we are just as much spirit as we are these human vessels. Like, you're gonna experience that. That's the beautiful part. That's the best part. That really is the best part. Even in your deepest suffering, even in your deepest suffering, like, delicious. So good.
It's hard for people to understand that when they're in the midst of that pain, though, right? Too. So, but it's like,
oh my gosh,
everything is happening for you, and that there's a lesson that's coming through. And, you know, for me, it's like, I always go back to this, is that you can't build a solid foundation built on decay. And so that's everything that is being brought up to the light right now, is because we are in the midst of creating a new earth and a new paradigm and a new way of living. And so everything that goes against that old programming, anything that was decaying or not working, needs to be brought to the light. It needs to be exposed so that we can build this new, beautiful foundation. And that is one of the things that I am here to do, is I'm building this foundation for leaving it for my legacy, to my children, because they're the future leaders. They're going to be the ones that are the you know what I mean, the leaders in this new earth realm, where they're going to be going out. And, you know, even though my little girl, so she's 5, she's highly connected to all of this and stuff like that. She comes on, he didn't even do anything, and she's already going like this to him, like she already knows what she's doing this morning to him. I was like, whoa. Her name means God's shining light. Yeah, she was doing it, and she had never seen him before. And I was like, oh, but she goes to me, even when she was little and stuff like that. She looked at me and she goes, Mom, you can't tell people this. I'm like, yes, this is what we're here to do. She goes, no, we're not allowed to tell people this. You can't. And I said, no, we're here to do this, honey, because she knows, you know, she's been doing tarot since she's completely, and these are the things, you know what I mean? Like, I encourage my children to sit in these things. And that's what we as parents are here to do, is that we are bringing in this new, because this was never brought to us as children, right? We were always told to fear our gifts and that there was nothing outside of our 5 senses that existed. And so it's really important that we are bringing in and building this new foundation with these things and stuff. So, yeah, but once again, you have to take out the decay and all of the lies that we have been living, and all the programming that we've been living, and all of this stuff too, you know. So it needs to be brought to the forefront to be able to be seen, so it can be cleared out of our physical realities for everybody.
And again, it's the acceptance that it's not negative as such. The image that I got, again, the relatability is amazing. I say that I'm laying foundations for the world of tomorrow to be built on, exactly the same way. But the body, looking at everything as energy, if you look at it as a body of water, and you can relate this back to the mind as well. In the darkness of the mind, at the depths of the ocean, there is darkness, and in the darkness there is fear, because it's fear of the unknown. And in the darkness there is pollutants. There are monsters, which are all fabricated and self-created. It's the storms of life which actually bring up those debris, those pollutants from the depth of the ocean to the surface. That is a trigger. That is when somebody comes along and triggers us or affects us, and we respond. It allows us to see those parts of ourselves that exist in the darkness, because we have decided they are bad, and we have put them away and condemned them in the darkness. Bringing them back into the light and accepting them as part of who we are brings them back into the light, and they become part of who we are again. That is how we create completion within ourselves. So again, it is those storms of life. It is those negative events which allow for positive growth and transformation. And it's exactly like a caterpillar. It goes into the darkness to emerge into something more beautiful the other side. And it's the same for our collective story as a species. We've gone through it at the moment. We've gone through our darkness. We've all taken time to reflect and come back into ourselves. And as Layla said, sometimes, sadly, people wear their trauma as war paint. It's like, well, I was traumatized. This happened to me when I was 4. That's the reason that I am this way. I'm like, yeah, okay. What happened to you when you were 4, you weren't responsible for. You didn't have any information to respond in any other way. But now you have the potential and the opportunity to actually reframe that event, to set yourself free from it. That story isn't one you need to tell yourself anymore. You don't need to be a victim anymore to that past event. That's up to you. We don't know what we don't know. People don't know. Somebody who is acting out of a way of fear and responding to a situation, if they don't have any other information to use, it's not their fault. But when we then realize that we have an alternative direction we can take, it then becomes our personal responsibility to ourselves to act accordingly, I believe. So it's not always somebody's fault if they're acting like through frustration or conflict or hostility. Some people will never be able to see. And again, that's all part of the balance and the equation. That's part of the, the light dark scenario once again.
And their personal journeys too, right? And have our own journeys, and it's not up to us to change anybody else's journey, just to walk beside them, and we can share our wisdom, but it's up to them whether or not they're going to want to receive and change their behaviors. And if they don't, then it's something that that's when we realize, okay, we're going to vibrate out this frequency because it's no longer aligned with who we are. We also think of the darkness as a place of creation. Where are you when you're in a womb and you're in the darkness? That's where all life and all matter is formed. 70% of our universe is dark matter, right? Where everything is. And what is God's source energy? Dark matter and the black hole, which actually bursts everything. So we need to think of it in that sort of way too, right? There's so many different ways that we can reframe our thoughts in all of this. But once again, if you're not aware of all of these things that are occurring, or think of it in that sort of way, you're not going to be able to mentally be able to bring yourself to those conscious states. And so that's why planting the seeds is what we're doing, right? You just plant a seed. That's all we're really doing. And then we all begin to remember and learn in these new ways. And then we can remember that, oh yeah, see, we're going back to that state, right? And I think that that's true. And, like you say, every day you die and every day you wake up. And it's almost like that. Every day we forget and every day we have to remember. So, you'll hear the phrase like, remember who you are, or we suffer from amnesia. It's not only like long term, it's almost like on a daily basis. And then it's waking back up to, okay, I have to remember to be in my gratitude stance. And I have to remember to tap into the frequency of abundance every day and be able to do that, because if we forget it so quickly, we can go down. At least I know personally for me, it's just that remembering every day.
I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you set your intentions before bed, like before you sleep?
I do. So I set intentions before I go to sleep of what I want my day to be. I give thanks. Gratitude and love are one in this, you know what I mean? I give thanks for everything. So as I go to bed, I say thank you every night for the amazing day. Thank you for everything that came my way. Thank you for all the blessings. May my day be grand, may it be productive, whatever it may be that I'm wishing to complete, receive, or whatever it is for the next day. That's when I go to bed. And then when I wake up again, I'm saying thank you, thank you, thank you. And then I'm always gratitude and love frequency is what I set the intentions to. And then anything else that I want to move through or come through me. Abraham Hanks, we get into the vortex, we put it all out there. We got to make sure that we're in a vibrational match for it all as well, right? But just know that I write mantras, I write affirmations. I actually have I don't not gonna share, but I actually have a book that's in the process of being published. That is a big, huge thing for me. That
awesome.
You know what I mean? That has helped, and it's to help people on this journey because words are so powerful, and we don't realize this. But at the same time, we also have to remember that when we do use mantras and affirmations, if there's anything or a manifestation, which a lot of people don't realize, is that if there's anything that is going to block you from receiving that manifestation, it has to come up and out through you, vibratory. And that's where people get stuck in the manifestation process, is because they're like, oh my gosh, I'm starting to feel this certain way, or this energy or this feeling or this emotion is coming into play, but so my manifestation is not going to come through, right? I'm not worthy, but it's really just that that energy needs to be removed from you so that your manifestation can come to you, because you have to open up and create that space and stuff. And so it's really, really important. I feel like that needs to be spread more, because I don't think people really understand that component of it. And it's ask, believe, and receive. But at the same time, there might be, quote unquote, what you might think of as negative things that are coming through just to be released and removed from your energetic field and stuff. But yes, I definitely do. I'm a big believer in gratitude and thankfulness and intention setting, manifestation, and affirmations, the whole line. So yeah. So there's so many, right? It's not just one thing. And I think that's another thing that people aren't aware of. It's like you have to do, it doesn't need to take a lot of work, but like you said, you have to sit in meditation, you have to sit in, your prayer and meditation, and then affirmations and all of it kind of like together. It's a toolkit of what you use in your daily practice to be able to align yourself. And it looks differently for everybody. And I think that that's another thing too, is people want to say, oh, this is the way you have to do it. No, it's we all have a personal journey. What works for you might not work for me, and what works for me might not work for you, So yeah, thank you.
No, I think that's really helpful. I will say too, at least in my experience, because I do something similar. But I've learned that it's not as much about removing, because I feel like that's still like condemning or separating, right? Like it's not about, to me it's about, and what I've learned is that it's more about transmutation. So it's about transmuting the energy that's already present into something fruitful for you. So like when I go to bed and the things that I do, I say a very intentful, like, I release and transmute to the highest possible frequency, whether it's mine or somebody else's. I call back all my energy, transmuted to highest possible frequency. And then I set the intentions, right? Okay, so I also, so like for me, that looks like, I'm asking that you assist me in waking in this very high vibrational state of being, or help me to wake in my highest vibrational timeline, feeling rested, rejuvenated, and ready to embrace the day. Like, because here's the thing, we have very, I think, as we're growing and learning to become more aware of our conscious creation, we don't always realize what we have in the vibrational vortex and the momentum that we've built, right? So sometimes we can wake up, like I will say, up until the last 6 months or to a year, I'd sometimes I'd be great, and then I'd wake up in the morning and it's like all the grief and all the things, right? All the things would just hit me at full force. And I'm like, it's not that I'm necessarily an unhappy person, but like, why am I? Yes, babes. Excuse me. Yes, babe. Oh, I love that. Just in case you guys were wondering, we have a fort built here. Yes. So he's gonna eat his breakfast. That's right. You did such a good job. He's 7. So we have, yeah. So anyways, so and his name is Eli.
My puppy's name is Eli.
Elijah. Oh, that's
Elijah.
Awesome. Yeah.
My favorite name, Elijah, is my favorite name. I love it.
That's a good name. Thank you.
Yes, I
Your
love
name.
it.
The group is saying, or Miss Monet is saying how she really likes your name. It's her favorite name. It's a good name.
It is. It is.
He chose that, right? He chose that. But I have noticed that as I've, he noticed too. Huh? I love that. He's so great. Kane knows. His little divine intervention when he comes in, it's really, really good. Something he does when I'm upset, this has been really extra noticeable. Well, I want to help you be fun. So how can we get you into a state of fun? Like, I don't want you to be upset. I want you to be fun. And I'm like, okay, I totally hear you. And honestly, it's spot on, right? Because Abraham does talk a lot about that. Like, I've really noticed it's something that's helped me a lot. And I keep bringing up Abraham, but that's because that's something that I listen to when I really want to exist in my super high vibrational state, which means genuinely not even really highlighting the pain and the trauma in that way. Like, it's important to honor and acknowledge it. And then it's important to like boot that story, because what story are you going to tell? What story are you going to keep telling? Because the more you bring it up, whether you're trying to, and that's why I was like, oh, better than what? Because if we understand that we're absolutely exactly where we need to be in perfect divine alignment, literally right now, we are enough right now, no matter what's going on, right? Doesn't matter. The stories don't matter. The trauma, like, ultimately, yes, it built you, and yes, it helps you gain perspective. But if that's not the life you're wanting to continue living, then you've got to stop talking about it to a degree. It's important to heal it. It's important to view it in a different way, but we don't need to keep reactivating that hurt, right? That's not helpful. That's keeping you in that vibration. Exactly. How are you supposed to?
You're gonna just bring it to your future, and so you have to
exactly.
And you're exactly, because it's all just a story. It's a story. Lens of perception that you made it, and that's why people can have a completely different experience and different
at the same time.
The same exact thing. It's all a story created in our mind. That's all it is. We put meaning to everything by our beliefs and our programming and our feelings at that time, right? And so if we get to choose, I wanted to see it this way, then we can choose to see it that way. Gosh, so powerful.
Focus on the solution, not the problem.
It is. We're shifting into a solution-based reality, right?
Yeah.
So what's happening in our world is literally destroying everything in place that's not helpful. It's not helpful. We understand, I think, as a global entity, we do understand that things are not working well the way they were, and they haven't been. So what had to happen? So much massive, big changes. I mean, this has been in process for a while. We understand that too, but now we're really getting into the juicy stuff. This is all the deep inner work that we've done, and we're now kind of on the other side of, and now the physical reality is catching up, right? So that's exciting. I think we've got enough people on this planet at this point focusing their vibration and focusing their intention in a way where it is love-based. You're okay. Thank you for letting me know. I super appreciate you.
And we have to remember, everything happens on an energetic level first, right? Just like you go into that thing, you have to create it energetically. It happens in your mind, and then all of a sudden it takes time for it all to come down and be physicalized in your physical manifestation. And all the thoughts that we already created, what we wanted to see and play out in our realities. And so here it's all just coming down in. It's so beautiful. It's I don't know. When I just tap into it, I feel it. It's just, I know.
It is. It's delicious. It's really good. It's delicious in all the ways, right?
Right. Yeah.
It's my favorite word, right? Is I want to live a really delicious life. Delicious, right? Because
I don't know if your kids have a problem.
Vibration.
Yeah, well,
it's good.
I found that the other day because I'm like, and my kids are like, it makes us really. My older two, I have 5 kids, so my older two teenagers, it makes us really uncomfortable when you're, and I'm like, it's not it just feels so good. I don't know what to do. It's
rubbing your knees,
right?
Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
It feels so good that I can't, that's everything that I do. I am so in love with life. Everything feels so good. And it's so good type of situation. Looking at the sun, looking at the leaves, looking at anything, it feels that.
Right. Getting excited about the little things. And that's how we retune though. That is how we fine tune and focus, right? It's like we wouldn't tune to a country music station expecting to hear rock music. That doesn't work that way. It just doesn't. You have to be, well, you don't have to be anything really. Let's just be clear. We really need to give ourselves a lot more grace. We don't have to be anything. Like I was saying, can I show you guys what the daily pull was for today? Because it's literally one of the best cards in the deck was what I pulled right before I jumped on the call. It's the 10 of Cups. I don't know if y'all can see that, but that is literally ultimate fulfillment, right? Ultimate fulfillment. Really, really delicious. And so, I just think it's really lovely. That's clear because that's me tuning into the collective. What's my collective need here? Collective today apparently is on cloud 9, and maybe not every single person, but to a degree. I mean, that's pretty good. That's pretty delicious. Love that.
And if anybody is in a position they're not feeling euphoric and uplifted and buzzy and joyful, it's just allowing that reminder that this too shall pass, that it is all perfect as it is, and that everything has always been perfect and it always will be. And it's just like those darker clouds. It's always the same. The darker clouds bring the rain, but without the rain there is nothing to grow the crops. We need rain and sun, as you were saying before. And it's allowing those darker experiences to be enjoyed, again, infusing our worth and our knowledge that we will get through this. It will get better. Even the darkest of days, there is always light to be found. On the most cloudy of days, and I did this, and it was one of those confirmation moments for myself. It was in the UK, it's quite grey a lot of the time in the winter, and you couldn't see where the sun was. There was no sun. And I just stared at this point. I don't know why it was. I just, wherever it was, when I was looking, and it was at a point when I was having a bit of a crisis of character and choice of directions, and have I made the right decisions here, and etc. etc. And I just was looking at this bit of cloud, and the clouds just dissipated, and the sun was right there. It was the exact spot the sun was, and this light shone through, and I was just like, thank you. So it's asking yourself for confirmation sometimes, asking yourself for a reminder, and again, being there for yourself. I keep you safe. I keep myself safe. I am my own father, my own mother, my own protector, my own lover, my own carer, my own cheerleader. I inspire myself. In that way, I'm fully actualized and complete, and I no longer need to have validation from anybody else. So it's beautiful, really is. It's that this too shall pass. It's a beautiful reminder. If anybody is in a position where they're struggling and they're disconnected from love, this too shall pass.
Can I say something too, just real quick? So something I've been really excited about this morning specifically is this is the first morning. So about, I don't know, a year and a half ago. Hold on 2 seconds. Hey, buddy, we've got to share this space, okay? Quiet voice, Eli Thomas. Thank you. Thanks for waiting.
Beautiful.
There it is. Okay, this morning was the first morning that I actuated things that I was like I was writing my perfect day. That's a better perspective. I was writing my perfect day and what that looked like. And today is the first morning that I got up and meditated with the rising of the sun, which was very specific in that creation. All of my stuff is like already done for the day virtually, other than gratitude. And in regards to that self-care, and I'm also understanding that as I meditated before bed last night too, I think implementing stuff like that, but it's exciting. Like we do get there. I would tell you right now, if I've even just like 2 weeks ago, if I had known that I'd be in this spot right here, having this really delicious communion with y'all and like being in that space, even 2 weeks ago, I would have been like, okay, you know what I mean? It's just, and things really do fall away really easily. I was just telling Kane, like I just quit smoking, like tobacco and nicotine. Thank you. And I've been off it for now like almost 2 weeks, but it was like, there wasn't this big resistant thing around it. It just fell away with ease because that's what I intended, right? I'm letting it go. And when there isn't as much resistance, right? Life becomes easier, and life is supposed to be ease. Life is supposed to be those really beautiful things. I mean, like, for example, okay, you guys have to see how still this water is.
Well,
right?
Yeah, like
this water is so still. This water is so still that it's completely reflecting the sky.
Yes. It is
it's
phenomenal.
It really is. It really is. And so honestly, like that inner stillness, look at that divine reflection. Like, I just got tingles. That divine reflection. But that's us too. And when our waters are still, we can literally reflect anything that we want. We are already doing that, right? So let the muddy water settle. Let's get out of resistance, right? Like it's very doable and very possible. Literally anything. Infinite possibilities, right?
And infinite, unlimited
100%.
possibilities are available to each and us, every one of us at any moment, if we choose to just see it that way.
And sometimes it's that one moment that can literally change your entire life. That's why it is moment by moment, truly. It is one moment, it is one thought, it is 1 second where everything can change, right? Everything. And it is powerful. That momentum, like all of that, so powerful. So powerful. Really, 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 really delicious.
Yeah, right.
And what's the only moment we ever have?
Now. Right now.
This present moment, that's all that
the
exists.
gift of the present moment.
And thanks to our egos for allowing us conscious awareness, because you know what? That's exactly what allows us conscious awareness.
Yes.
it allows us to, you know, recognize what an experience is, right?
Without an egoic self, there is no sense of self.
Which means we would not be aware, conscious individuals, right?
100%.
We had this discussion the other way. I had this discussion with one of the other day. We were just talking about like the ego and the self and like the whole and do we, you know, is it needed? I have the same whole line. It's beautiful to think of it that way, right? It's the fractal. We're the fractals of God's source energy in any moment, and our perception is us experiencing that and having that different view. And so there is a need for self as well as with the whole and the whole nine. Love it. It is so divine.
And interestingly, I've how does everyone feel about going on a journey to reconnect to a loved one? Is that something that feels relevant, or is that not really something that is calling to be experienced?
I find that interesting that you brought that up, Kane.
I didn't. It wasn't me. Two people have asked me over the last 12 hours. So I've said I will create a journey. I will flow through a journey, and then I was like, well, it's obviously relevant for today.
And why do you find it interesting? How is it aligned for you?
Oh, I find that, well, okay, so I'll say from my experience, you know, I lost my mom right after my son was born, and she was my world. She was my world. Okay. I was 23 at the time. So I was brand new single mom. Okay. So I'm in the house that I grew up in, or not grew up in. That's like our vacation house. That's the house I'm in right now. And her ashes are here, and her energy is ever present in this house. But I find it interesting because I personally connect a lot with spirit in different ways. And so I just found that interesting that other people were in alignment with that. Like death is very real. But I kind of love talking about it. Like it's my sweet spot, right? So it's not darkness. It's really good. So, well, darkness, you know. But yeah, I did find that interesting. That's something that was brought up this morning because I don't think I've heard Kane talk about that. I don't think I've heard Kane specifically correlating, right? Like that's super. I love death. I think it's something to lean into. I think it's something to really get excited about it. Are you? But you don't like it?
No, people always find my view of death peculiar. I'm like, well, it's like a film. The film's ended. You've been enriched by the experience of the film. What go and watch another film. I'm quite I don't understand. I'm like, sorry if you're lost, but I'm not really that sorry because it's part of life and they've gone on to better and bigger things. So I'm sorry that you're upset.
It's the most alignment.
But you know, it is what it is. Why are you trying to deny reality? There's the denying reality part that's making you sad. Accept it. Be grateful for the experience of it. But being able to reconnect to a loved one, because quite often, again, I've been going through recently a lot of pain in relation to love, because when relationships come to an end, and it's quite like a death. When a death happens, it's black and white. That's it. When a relationship comes to an end, if it's done with trauma and the two people don't want to ever spend any time around each other again, it's quite like a death. There's a line in the sand, move forward. When it's done with love and a desire for the best for each other, there's always that want to reconnect and to be there. So a lot of the time when we fall out of love with somebody, it's as though we just place a door in between us, and then that pain and that love is gone. When the door is left open and you're feeling the love, but also the separation from the love and the pain that comes along with that separation from love that you've attached to the other person, it's as though you're almost constantly going through that trauma of the death over and over again. And for me, knowing that, again, they're never apart. And I went through this when I moved out of my family home. And every time I'd see my children again, it was like I died. Every time they went back home to their mums, I died again. And I did it over and over again, over and over. For about a year, part of me would leave with them every time, to the point where I had nothing left. And then again, that's when I started to harness that self-love and realize that they're never gone. They're always in me. My boys literally are part of me as I'm part of them. And I hold them inside my sacred space as I hold my connection to all my loved ones there. So it doesn't matter where they are in time or space. I'm always able to connect to them. And even just a single conscious thought, it creates a reality again. I am then experiencing them in my mind, and knowing that it's all experienced in the mind. It doesn't matter if they're physically there or not, because I can emotionally and consciously and energetically interact with anybody that I want to across time and space. It's how people can channel through information from Jesus, as an example. He still is consciously existent in the conscious realm of everything and nothing. That information is there. He is accessible, as just all of our loved ones are. So it isn't something I ever looked at. And again, I did videos. One of the most watched ones on is like, I discovered how to time travel. It was one of the first ever lives I did, like 3 years ago or something, and it gets so much attention and so many comments. People ask me to bring back their loved ones for them, and I'm like, I can't change physical matter, but I can allow you to connect back to the love for that person, so the love for them is returned. I can't return them to you, but I can reconnect you to the love for them without it being painful.
That's beautiful.
And I think too, the reconnecting, right, to that part, it's rather what I think Kane does, and what I can't speak for Kane, but I can speak for myself in that way. It's allowing that person to reconnect. We're just facilitating. We're just helping you to see exactly what you're doing. We're not doing it for you. We're not doing anything for you. We're just facilitating from our own experience, our own journey, our own knowledge on how we've learned to do that. And we're holding that space for you to do so for yourself. Because like my mom, for example, will not sit in anybody's body. Will not. She will only exist in spirit. She will not come in. She will not have a seat. She will not, won't. I don't have very many people that I talk to that are willing to not invade our vessels, but that's private. Like that's privacy to a degree. And so they're happy to be their own beingness while also one and the same, right? All on their own. And so at least that's been, like I said, my experience. But I do find it interesting, because I think that with that level of grief, because that grief is really real. And I think that's what a lot of people are holding on to. I think that's why people continue to suffer. I mean, I will say right now, I think there's also a difference in grief between losing somebody and knowing that they're physically around, and you just can't you can't talk to them. You can't reach out for whatever reason, because there's some hang up there or whatever, or they're not healthy anymore. Because we can even talk about that, like understanding that vibrationally is just not a great idea. And there's a totally different level of that person literally not physically being here. Yeah,
that's accepted. You can accept when they're
very
more easily.
To a degree. I think a lot of people have a really hard time with that, though. I think that they think that it's some and the perception around death, right? Like I will say it is, to me, harder to let go of somebody that I know is physically here. But I also relate to death really differently than most people. I get really excited for people that die. I'm like, yes, you whipped that. Congratulations. Like, yeah, you're in the party now. Like other people, and not to say that I have not, like I ugly cried for hours, days, weeks. Like when you lose a parent, or when you lose, especially a parent, I'll just say this. People will not understand the level. It's like losing a child, I would imagine. Similar but different. That's a whole other level of abandonment. That's a re-abandonment one, right? Because I don't think it matters what age you are either. I genuinely don't. It's easier to justify when your parent has lived into their 90s and their physical body is just not capable anymore. But like my mom was in her mid-50s and she had stage 4 cancer. It was completely asymptomatic, and we caught it. Literally, she was diagnosed 2 months to the day before she died. So like,
that's so
we
funny.
had no warning.
It was 11 days. So my dad died of cancer, and it was 11.
I just got chills.
He got cancer until he died. And the thing that I would say, and it was like, it was the most pain I've ever felt in my whole entire life and stuff like that. Just
Totally.
to be the one to make the decision to stop his stream of life. And as a child to have to do that, it's really, really tough. And you don't know. It's a lot harder when it's that way than if it's something that has, and it's that grief and that's, but yeah, I wouldn't be where I am today if I hadn't known that pain. It was mortal pain, and it was, I you know what I mean? So I know what it's like to be in that. I had 50 people in a 5-year period die. So like death for me was something I really had to learn how to, like, it's very different. It was like, it was just like, I was like, what in the world? And then with each death, the grief from the one before and the one before and the one before and the one before came up, and it was like learning how to navigate through that, you know what I mean? And then for me, that was like, it's that you even brought this up, because yesterday I was having not yesterday, 2 days ago on Friday, I was having a conversation with somebody talking about how like my dad was coming in my dreams and people were coming in my dreams, and like my dad didn't know he was dead. I'm like, he's like, my girlfriend, she's not talking to me. I'm sitting here trying to talk, like, Dad, you went to the hospital, you died. He's like, no, I went to the hospital. He's like, and I'm like, no, you had a heart attack and you died right there. And he was like, but I went to the hospital. They're supposed to say, like, yeah, well, that's not the way it works, and just to be able to, and then from that, to just know that he's around and you feel him and you can tap in at any point in time. But a lot of people don't understand as well, right? And they can't get and it's hard to get out of that grief and that pain. It's a really, really dark place, and there's a lot of people that are stuck there.
Beautiful
I think
why that's coming through there, your view or the way in which you perceive it to be, or moving through it all would be really, really helpful for a collective energy I'm hearing. I don't know if that's something that you've ever thought about at all.
I think it's very in alignment with a lot of the things we're working towards, right? Is helping people. I want to get people excited about dying, literally, because you know what? Death is not a scary thing. Death is beautiful. Death is wonderful. I mean, it is. It should be celebrated. It really should be. It's beautiful.
I'm going to have everybody that wishes to attend mine wear old clothes, and then have people at the start throw like paint over them and make it like a bit like a festival. So it's like it's a celebration. So it's to get a bit messy, get a bit playful, bring laughter and joy into it, and celebrate each and every person's life. It's not going to be about me. It's about each person being celebrated for who they are. So it's gaining again a feeling of uplift for everybody that attends. It's about each person that comes and their story, not about me and mine.
I like that. And I think that one of the things is that we have to face death in order to truly live, right? So we don't know what it's like to live unless we can understand, if we can get over our fear of death, because literally that is why everybody's afraid of death. And they say they protect themselves, and everything they do is because they are afraid of dying, right? Everything is about happening. When we accept that we're going to die, but we still have this moment right here, and we get to choose, and we can live, and we live each day as if it's our last, and as if we are already dead, because that's what it all comes down to. We're going to be gone. So we need to make the most of each and every moment. And because we don't know when it's going to come, it can come instantaneously. Did you tell everybody you love that you love them? Did you know what I mean? Did you do all those things? And that's why be in the present moment, and to be in this heart space, and to not shut ourselves off from the love that we are and the love that we want to give, and tell people I love you.
I love you.
Much.
I love you. And
all the love. I love you. And I love you. And even though I can't see everybody, I love you all.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
And that's what that's what it really boils down to, is being able to share this love with everybody. But so many of us are just so hurt and broken and disconnected from our own love within, that we're not able to share that love. It's because we have that fear.
We've blocked it off. Yeah, there's a barrier, there's a wall. And I again, just to relate back, I felt myself separate from love for Jess, because it was easier to separate the love and almost try to hate her. as opposed to feel love and the pain alongside it. But I can't hate, and I don't. It's not really. I don't hate anybody. There is no hate in me. So trying to prevent the love, again, all I was doing is preventing the love. I came out of love myself. So it's accepting again that each person's journey is unique to them, and that actually they are always there, because I didn't like the whole when somebody passes that they're just floating around waiting for us. It's
Ambiguously, like just hanging.
Yeah, like my granddad. My granddad, when he passed, he used to come and he'd visit, and he'd visit my son. And I was like, okay, but you've gone off as well. You'd have returned to source, and you'll be experiencing a new adventure somewhere else. Why are you just hanging around here for? I didn't like the fact that it was like people become trapped by the people they leave behind. So because you don't want your parent to pass, they physically pass, but you retain their connection energetically. Their spirit's still here, so I can communicate with them. I didn't like that at all. So I then realized that actually we're multifaceted beings, and that they exist in multiple realms at all times. So he is here, as well as being physically alive still somewhere else, as well as being a tree somewhere else, and a fish in the sea somewhere else. He is all these things, as we are ourselves, everything and nothing, everything or nothing, and everything in between. So that was a beautiful realization, that it's not about, because again, that's the death. A lot of the time people hang on to life because they don't want, or you don't want your mum or dad to pass, so you prevent their passing. And as soon as you bless their passing, more often than not, they will then pass, because they've been holding on for you. They're not there for themselves anymore. They're there to try to prevent your pain and suffering.
You or anybody else too, not even that. Yeah, that's very true. And that's why a lot of people say, oh, I came to say goodbye, or I said it's okay to go, and then they went. It's because I've never thought of it in that sort of way, that it's when we are energetically and constantly in mourning and in pain for that we are keeping that within our energy, and we are actually doing a disservice to them because we are keeping them in a holding state. It did bring me back to something really, my cousin passed away very unexpectedly, and my aunt had a really hard time with it. And I remember going to her grave, and I'm like, she's stuck here because she won't let her go. And that whole stream came back in when you just said that to me. And I didn't understand it at that moment in time, but now I see it in that new energy feel way. So thank you for that. That really, but that can help people, because there's a lot of people I know that are suffering in that state, and I don't think we even think of it. I know I have never consciously thought of it in that sort of way. So thank you very, very much. I appreciate that, with that knowledge today and that wisdom, because it was necessary. And I hope other people will be able to receive that too, because that will help them in their journey too.
It's all contractual. If you contract somebody to have to remain as soon as you release somebody from their contract, then they're free to go. And if you look at it all as contracts, it's energetically written. We're contracted before we come here for certain experiences and lessons. And again, that's a beautiful reminder that I chose this. This is for me.
Yeah, this is for me. Yes, I know what's about to happen for me. That's right.
Okay. So let's do this. Let's see how this goes. So if you would all like to make yourselves comfortable and enter into a meditative sort of state, if you will, I'm going to put you all on mute, if that's okay, just so that there's no background noises. And then I'm going to start a little bit of music, and we will go on this beautiful journey together. Thank you all for allowing me this beautiful privilege of journeying with you, alongside you, beside you, to reconnect back to the love for somebody that has passed on, that is continuing their journey elsewhere. And I know that more often than not, the loss of something, the end of something, can create a feeling of separation, a feeling of pain. So today we are going to reconnect, to rediscover, to rebirth and relive that love, the love that is felt by you, within you. So therefore it is your love. And all that I ask you do is take a moment to look within, to focus your light of attention, your awareness upon your breath as you take a deep and purifying, energizing breath in through your nose and out through your mouth. And just as though you are opening a doorway and allowing for that breath to flow through, breathing in, accepting everything just as it is, knowing that all past events, all experiences, all interactions, they have all helped to make you the person that you are today. And I would like to take this opportunity just to say thank you. Thank you for everything that you do and for simply being you. The unique aspect that you are of the universal collective is perfect and divine. You are perfection embodied, and you deserve every happiness that life has to offer. And in your mind, that image, that feeling of your dream life, the life of your dreams that exists in your mind, exists just as the memory and connection to your loved one still exists. They live on in you, and the actions that you take, the learnings which they gifted you, the interactions, the experiences, every moment spent together is one to be grateful for. And every moment of their continued journey, as well as yours, again, is something to be grateful for. And just bringing into mind the person that you would like to reconnect to today. Go ahead and bring up an image within your mind of a screen, a blank screen, And upon this screen, just allow for a memory of old, a time in the past that is to be experienced now in the present, a time that you spent a joyful and loving moment with your loved one. And just as though you have put on the telly and this scene is playing before you for you to watch and observe, just take a moment, take a breath as you watch. And this is something that we can return to in any given moment, in any space, time, or place, by closing your eyes and taking a deep and grounding breath in through your nose and breathing into your belly, and then taking a short second breath up into your heart center, breathing into the center of your being, breathing in that love, that universal pranic life force energy, the same energy that fills and animates us all. And as you continue to just breathe naturally and effortlessly, I'd like to invite you to join me as we take a walk, as we are going to go on an adventure of sorts, a walk in the magical and majestical woods. And as we step into these woods, go ahead and take a moment just to look at your feet, to ground to your surroundings, to notice the foliage upon the floor, the grasses, the flowers, the shrubs. And as you gaze further afield, notice the trees and the animals. And as you listen, see if you can associate the sounds to any particular creatures. The calls of the birds, the rustling of the critters. And just go ahead and take a deep breath in through your nose. And really breathe in the smells of your surroundings. That beautiful and enriching smell of Mother Nature as she wraps you in the warmth and embrace of her bosom. And as we continue to just float effortlessly through the forest, along a path that seems to have been laid out before us, knowing that we are traveling towards a destination that we have longed to experience, just floating easily and effortlessly, joyfully and playfully, excited for what is yet to come. And in the distance, slowly approaching and becoming larger and larger with each moment, there is a small shack, a cabin in the woods. And as we approach this cabin and come to a stop just outside the doorway, take a moment again just to check in with yourself and to notice the characteristics and qualities of the cabin. How big is it? What color and shape? What qualities and characteristics does it have? Does it look old or new? Is it big or small? And then just go ahead and gaze down towards the door. And again, take a moment to notice and really check in, as this doorway is your doorway. This is your access point between the realm of the physical and that of the astral. And upon this other side of this doorway, there is somebody that has been waiting to reconnect to you, to show you that the love that you had for them is still there, just as the love that they had for you exists within you now, and it always will do. And take a moment once again to notice the shape, the size, the materials the door is made of. What color is it? And how is it that it opens? Does it have a handle? Or does there require some form of access code? Is it locked? Do you require a key? And however it opens, know that it is opened only by you, and that you are safe and divinely protected and guided in everything that you do. And any time you would like to return to this door in future, to return to the cabin in the woods, to travel within the astral, to find the answer to any question, simply intend it so. Breathe in and reconnect to that unconditional love, that universal pranic life force energy, the love that you are yourself, embodied in perfection. And with your consciousness, with the will of your mind, know that you can achieve anything that you desire. And as you can feel the energy within the cabin building, vibrating, and emanating from that cabin, a cabin of love, laughter, joy, and enrichment. knowing that the journey that you will take upon the other side is yours to be experienced by you and for you. And that you will gain and receive everything that you require from this journey and this reconnection. And that your loved one is always with you. And that you will be consciously aware of this. Once you enter into this room, once you open up the door to your heart once again and allow for that love to shine through. And just go ahead and remind yourself of why you are here. And as you look down at the door once again, go ahead and allow for it to begin to open. Go ahead and open that door and step in, float into the room, float into that cabin of love. And as you do, watch as the light begins to raise within the room. Take a moment just to acknowledge your surroundings. And notice a chair in the corner, a chair that is back to you, that you are instantly drawn towards, knowing who it is that is sat within that chair, waiting to see you, waiting to tell you and to show you how incredibly special you are, how loved you are, and how proud they are to have been part of your journey and to have had you as part of theirs. Knowing that our journeys are eternal and that we will always be part of one another's stories. And as you begin to majestically float, magnetically drawn towards and connected to the love that you feel within you, and the same love that is felt within them too. As your heart centers connected energetically, vibrationally, as you are drawn and magnetically pulled towards each other. And as you float to the back of the chair and begin to journey around to the side, to turn and face them and energetically connect as you breathe in and let go with a feeling of surrenderance, of realization, of acceptance, forgiveness, and a reconnection to that unconditional love that you felt for them, that you feel now within yourself. Go ahead and just allow for all the information that they wish to share with you, all the love and appreciation to wash over you as you drown in love, breathing it in and embodying it, adopting it, integrating it into every fiber of your being. As that sense, as that feeling of relief washes over you, as you know that they are with you, and that they always have been, and they always will be. That sense of relief as you let go of all of that pain of old, that sense of relief, as though a dam has been removed, and that river, that life force energy, that love is free to flow within you, to you and through you once again with ease. And as you are locked in an embrace together, go ahead and take hold of each other's hands. And as you do, allow yourself to be transformed into the true, most vibrant, and most connected version of yourself that you could even imagine. And watch as you're transported across time and space to experience that which your heart desires, to go to that place that you'd always longed to go to before it became unimaginable, unquestionable, unrealistic in ways. You can go now and play, dance, sing together once again. You can go to your favorite place, eat your favorite meal, do your favorite things together. Go ahead now and do that thing that you have desired and longed for so long. Go. Be free. In love. And I would like to invite you to take an alternative perspective as you allow for part of yourself to separate from yourself and from the experience. And just go ahead and float way up into the air so that you are watching yourself and your loved one interacting, playing, connecting, loving each other unconditionally and eternally. And as you do, take a moment just to notice that the two of you are within a bubble of love and light. And within this bubble, everything in existence is yours to experience. This bubble engulfs and surrounds the entire universe with all the universal love, yours, as you breathe it in, receiving it, breathing back out, releasing it. And as you look down at this bubble, at the entire universe, with each breath in, accepting it into yourself, and each breath out, releasing it once again. As you look down, as you reach down, as you place your hands around this bubble and bring it up for a closer view, the entire universe in the palm of your hands, watching yourself and your loved one interacting, connecting, and experiencing all of those things that your heart desires. Go ahead and allow, as you accept everything that is, that was, and that shall ever be, accepting it into yourself, into your heart center. And with this bubble, as you watch yourself and your loved one, go ahead and begin to draw your hands closer and closer to your chest, bringing that bubble of love and light with everything in the entire universe, everything in existence, as well as everything that is potential, as you bring it in closer and closer to yourself. And as it begins to touch the surface of your skin, I would like to offer you the opportunity to complete yourself with yourself, to reconnect back to that unconditional love, the love that is always within you, felt by you. And I ask that you only do this, that you only allow for this connection to take place if it is something that you desire, that you would like to experience. This journey is one created by you, your higher self, to be experienced by you, your conscious and subconscious self, all elements and aspects linked in to your eternal self, your soul, and the universe in completion. And as you can feel the vibration of this bubble of gold and white light with the entire universe existing within it, as you can feel your body vibrating and pulsating in alignment to it, watch as it begins to actually melt and morph and absorb into you. With that bubble of unconditional love and light, the entire universe and everything in existence, as well as potential, being absorbed and integrated into your heart center. into the core of your very being, integrating and infusing this truth that you are the love that you seek into every fiber of your being, every atom, every molecule, and even the space between, integrating this truth across every timeline, lifetime, within every dimension and reality. The truth that you are unconditional love embodied, and that your loved one is always within you, connected to you as you are to them. The entire universe exists within you, projected externally from you to be experienced, simply for the experience. And just take a moment to realize how, before this journey, how you longed and how serious it felt. The thought of reconnecting to your loved one, how it was something that you would have given anything to do. Just take a moment to notice. There is no severity, only joy, acceptance, upliftment, and that you know that any time that you wish to reconnect to your loved one, they are there within you, guiding you, supporting you, protecting you, cheering you on with unconditional love, admiration, appreciation, pride, and a desire for your benefit and enjoyment, upliftment in everything you do. The dream life that you hold within your mind is now being infused and energized by yourself, as well as all of your ancestors prior to you. You are stood upon the shoulders of giants, and each and every one of them bows in honor to you. And as you go ahead and fully and completely adopt not only the love of your ancestors, but also the information and the abilities that each one of them possessed, feel yourself expanding and growing, just as that moment of the Big Bang, when everything came into existence. As the entire universe explodes back out from you, around you. And as you find yourself back outside that cabin, looking lovingly in amazement upon it, gazing through those majestic and playful eyes. And as you nod your head in appreciation and acknowledgement, and turn to face towards your future and the life of your dreams that you are creating now, and every moment of now that is yet to come. Knowing that you are guided and supported and connected to all of your loved ones across all time and space, and that all the information you require to achieve your heart's desires will be known by you at exactly the right time to achieve exactly what it is that you want to achieve, doing so easily and effortlessly with the support and appreciation of all of your ancestors, all of your loved ones, your friends, your family, your colleagues, your neighbors, humanity as a whole. We are all supporting one another, uplifting and inspiring each other, all connected as sisters and brothers, with love as the fuel that binds us, love as the air that we breathe, love as the foundation that we are together creating a world of true harmony upon. You are free to live the life of your dreams. You are free to choose you. You are free to live in a state of excellence and unconditional love and appreciation and acceptance for everything in completion. And as you begin to bring your attention, your awareness back to your physical body, back to the room that you are sat within, the sensations and feelings as you begin to rub your hands, your toes, and even wiggle your nose, coming back into your body, back into full conscious awareness. And of you feeling grounded and secured, connected and energized with that knowledge deeply infused into your being and into everything that you do. Thank you for taking this journey with me. Thank you for giving me this opportunity and this honor. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you, I love you, I love you.
Thank you. That's beautiful.
So good. So delicious.
Yes, it's going to be interesting to see how everybody comes through with that, because I think everybody's going to have a completely different journey. I cannot wait to see. I don't know. Hey, handsome, how are you?
He's been wanting to say hi so badly. Just hold on. Hold on.
Hi.
Elijah, how are you?
Hi, Elijah, how are you? Oh,
They're asking how you are, babe.
I'm doing great.
Oh, I am so happy to
How
hear that.
big you've got.
Oh,
Oh yeah.
You lost some teeth.
Oh yeah, I did. I got
It's been a while since you've seen him, I think. Yeah.
It's been a while.
Been a while, Crocodile.
Mm.
Oh.
Let's see.
Mm.
Yeah.
So why would you owe?
Why would you owe?
Why would you owe?
Because never owe on.
Yeah, we say oh, don't we? Oh. What is
Oh,
O?
yeah.
O,
I
O
don't
is
know.
the
It's okay.
eternal sound, actually. Oh.
An O looks like an O looks like a zero.
It does.
It's just like a donut.
It is like a donut.
And what does zero do?
What's a 0 do?
It's it's nothing more whenever you add in tens.
Ooh,
Nothing
nice.
and everything.
So
It's
it's nothing
nothing
in
more.
everything. It's nothing until
nothing
you
and
add to it
everything.
what you intend. I love that. 1 becomes 10 when you add a 0.
Mhm.
0
Yep,
is
will make
actually,
10. A 1 and a 0 make 10.
yeah, if you draw them next to
10.
each other.
1, 10, and nothing more.
Mm. Very, very clever.
Good. I'm glad you know your math.
I'm proud of myself for doing
I'm
my
proud
math.
of you too.
Excellent. Mm-hmm.
Here too. Good.
Mm.
Can I show them the fort?
You want to show them the fort? Is that okay?
I'd love to see the
I'd
fort.
be honored.
Can I
Oh,
have the fort?
well, are you ready to be taken on a journey inside the fort, or should we have a
Yes.
boundary around that? Because I'm not.
If you're happy to show us the inside of the fort, then I would be more than happy to be part of that adventure.
Okay. Yeah, they want to. Here, so let me help you. Hold on.
Amazing.
Okay.
Looks like you took a lot of time to build and create that.
Okay.
Can I?
Yep, you can totally take them inside the fort.
How do we
Okay,
get in?
so
Where's the
this is what the
entrance?
fort looks like. And I'm gonna show you the entrance. The entrance looks like this.
Nice.
And I got some plushies from decor, and so basically I got a tablet on my own. I just ate some food. I have a coaster with some water. I have
Nice.
those Octo plushies. Do you have one of those?
I don't.
Well, this is the whole room, but there's secret exits.
Is there a special password to get in?
Yeah, there's a secret passway.
What is it? Whisper.
There's a secret passway from
What is
here
it?
to get in here. Another secret password.
Nice.
Wait, why are you just there?
That's amazing. Thank you for showing us your fort, Rosa. That's such a magical creation you've made there.
Mhm.
Well done, mate. Thank
Can I
you.
The power of imagination and dreaming.
Mm.
Thanks,
Thank
everybody, for
you.
your patience.
Mhm,
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
And thank you all for today. Truly, it's been a beautiful time to spend together. There's been a couple of people that came a bit later because of the confusion of times. So
Yes.
it's been how it was supposed to be. The beautiful energy that we've held together and the reflections and moments of creation. So thank you all, truly.
Thank you.
Truly.
Thank
Love
you.
you.
Thank you.
Love you. Love you. Love you. Love you.
I love you all. I have a most
Okay.
beautiful and blessed rest of the day. Whatever you
Bliss.
bliss.
I like
bliss,
it.
bliss,
Bliss?
bliss.
Yes.
I'm gonna go and bliss out now.
Yeah.
Float somewhere in some bath of euphoric bliss. Sounds nice.
Beautiful.
Thank you all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All my
Love
love.
you all.
I look forward to connecting with you all again soon. We'll do this again soon, Monet. We'll do something very similar. Be nice.
Yeah. We'll talk about it. Sounds good, babe.
Thank
Okay.
you all.
Love you.
And I hope that you both come back for next time and bring more of what you've been doing as well, because for me, I love to learn. I love to learn as much as I can
Beautiful.
from as many
Lots
people
of
as
wisdom,
possible.
lots of knowledge dropped today.
Yeah. Thank you.
Awesome. That's what we're here to do, right? Share our stories, answers, and then we just all continue to ascend into higher states. And it's beautiful to connect and collaborate.
Yes.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
I'll
Thank
see you soon.
you. All right.
My
sounds
love.
good. Bye.
Have a beautiful day.
You too, Lacey. Thank you.
Many blessings.
Thank you for who you are and all you continue to do. Thank you for continuing to gain the knowledge, the wisdom, for continuing to look within and doing the work required to bring freedom to not only yourself, but everybody else. As you continue to do the work, as you continue to expand your consciousness and awareness, you continue the expansion and awareness of everybody else, helping others to break free from that limitation and illusion of old. Continue to support me in all I do. Continue to grow the movement and continue to grow yourself.